Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Stuart Rennie. I'm the Commercial Manager here at Presserv. I'm with my colleague Colin Fowlis, who is the STOPAQ Technical Authority, primarily focusing on oil and gas, but also in other sectors in the United Kingdom. The reason for today's webinar is we are looking at what we are seeing as a shift away from traditional coatings, paints, to more applications such as STOPAQ using a wrap for pipework and structural steel protection. We've also noticed that 2023 is a catch-up year for maintenance, operational maintenance professionals, fabric maintenance professionals, as they try to catch up on the backlog of maintenance and structures that need to be protected since the COVID pandemic. So what I want to share with you all today is how we view the way forward, how we see technology being a solution for corrosion mitigation across assets. Next slide, please. I think everybody's very aware of this quote by Grace Hopper, the Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, and it is very apparent in our industry as well. When we speak to corrosion professionals and people, they'll often quote, "Well, we've always done it this way." And yeah, we get that, you know, but 150 years have moved on, and we really need to be looking at smarter, cleaner ways to, first of all, prepare steelwork, and also to introduce corrosion control to the steelwork for longevity with the minimum impact on the environment and the future of the planet. Next slide, please, Whitney. Okay, so what we're talking about today, I would imagine as everybody joins, some of you will have a knowledge of STOPAQ, some of you won't. Some of you might have heard of Visco-elastic, so I'll just give you a short explanation of what happens. First of all, STOPAQ's core ingredient is polyisobutene, which is the same product that is used in the manufacture of chewing gum. It's used in chewing gum, so it maintains that chew experience when you've got the chewing gum in your mouth. Unfortunately, when it's disposed of, it still remains in that liquid application and sticks to everything, similar to STOPAQ. The purpose of STOPAQ is very similar to that of a liquid coating in the sense it's designed to act as a barrier and stop the ingress of oxygen, moisture and contamination to the metal surfaces. The advantage of STOPAQ compared to traditional coatings is the tolerance for mineral surface prep. For those of you out there who know the standards of preparation, the minimum standard that everybody talks about is ST2, so no requirement for grip blasting or surface profile. Again, viscoelastics tend to like to stick to a flat surface just as well as they want to stick to a profiled surface. So we don't need to get a profile to get the adhesion quality that we need. It will stick as long as it's clean, as long as any debris has been removed from the surface. The other thing to take in mind is the operational temperatures or the range of applications. So we've got -45 degrees C to 120 degrees C. So the colder applications for cryogenics, etc., right up to hot pipe. We see very low waste generation as well. Well, all you've got is the backing foil of the STOPAQ, and look if you can see that, and the cardboard roll that the STOPAQ actually comes in the first place. So these are easily discarded safely and cleanly. Because it's manufactured on site and brought as a finished product, there are no VOCs. No VOCs in the product, and there's no VOCs required. It has an unlimited shelf life. In other words, it will last. It'll last forever, basically, because it never cures. It never fully cures. As long as it's stored within a reasonable, clean, warm warehouse, you'll be fine. Maintenance intervals, we say 30+ years. That's the guarantee. If we can train the applicators here at Presserv and the applicators put the product on, then we'll offer a 30-year guarantee. In reality, we see the product lasting between 60 and 70 years without needing to be revisited. Extended weathering tests have shown this to be the case, but 30-year guarantee compared to its competitors is certainly something to be considered. Winnie, can I have the next slide? Okay, so I touched on polyisobutene. This is it in its raw form. So this is a test that's carried out, manufactured primarily by BASF. And in its raw form, it looks like a big clear block of fluid. But to touch it, it does feel like a solid. A good example would be if you were to place a coin on top of that left-hand photograph there and come back an hour later, the coin would have travelled a few millimeters into the PIB. And the advantage of the PIB is that, as you can see from the second photograph, it has very good flow characteristics. So any nooks, crannies, as we say in Scotland, the PIB will flow into. And that is exactly the same for the finished product with STOPAQ. The PIB in the STOPAQ is controlled by in the manufacturing process by the netting and the actual manufacture of the products itself. Okay, Whitney. You know, they say a picture paints 1,000 words. So here's a very short video from our friends at STOPAQ Seal for Life. What we're looking at here is how the product is applied to the pipe or tubular section. Not necessarily a pipe, it could be a tubular support. Here in Aberdeen, we offer STOPAQ certified training, likewise across other distributors in the STOPAQ network. This is available, and we highly recommend this if you've got an application to do, that you have somebody trained up in the application of the product, both for guarantee and both for quality of job. We can see the spiral wrap going on here. For smaller pipe, this is a one-man job. For medium to larger pipe, definitely a two-man job, just to keep that tension on the pipe. So we saw a spiral wrap first, and that's a straight wrap. A holiday test just to ensure there's no breaks, and then the over application of the outer wrap. Very straightforward. And that's new. No mess, no paint. Guaranteeing the dry film thickness, as the sheet's manufactured to a certain thickness. Okay, thanks, Whitney. Next one. We spoke about surface preparation a little while ago. Colin, do you want to just touch on this, just to break up my voice a little bit here?
Yes, this is just some pictures of surface preparation standard, or what has been used to prepare the surface prior to the application of the STOPAQ product. So there you see a Scotch-Brite pad, which is basically just like a scouring type pad that you would use to do your dishes, that type of thing, clean your pots at home. The next one is a wire brush, and then again you can see there that the surface is slightly cleaner using the wire brush. We've then moved on to a foam, is it foam, sir?
Yes.
A foam pad, again cleaning the surface a wee bit more, and then the last one is
paper disc.
Is a paper disc, so like the sandpaper, emery cloth, that type of thing, again giving you a slightly better surface preparation. And as you can see from all four of the cleanliness tests there, that they've all passed the adhesion check. So basically they've left 95% of the material on the surface. So you know you've got a good clean surface there and the STOPAQ's adhered to it.
Do you want to just mention, Colin, how the surface is actually cleaned and what's removed?
On the surface, really what you want to do is you move any loose and flaky material that's on the surface, and then you always give it a clean down with an isopropanol wipe or isopropanol cleaner. Here we use a spray cleaner, isopropanol spray cleaner, and clean it down with a rag. And you know when your rag's clean, then your surface is clean enough for your application of your STOPAQ wrapping band. The picture on the other side there is showing some stainless steel tubing or stainless steel pipe work there. Again, no need for acid etching or anything like that for this product on stainless steel. You're just cleaning it down the same way. You're giving it a wipe down, giving it a clean down, and then doing your adhesion check. And again, you can see from the picture that we're getting good adhesion onto the stainless steel pipe work.
Thanks, Colin. Just one other point on the stainless steel. Because of the fact it's minimum surface preparation, if you were normally to prepare stainless steel, you would need to create a profile. And by doing that, you are destroying the passive protection. But with STOPAQ, not at all. Just a light clean down STOPAQ will adhere just as well because it doesn't need a profile. Okay, Whitney, next one, thanks. So what does it look like on site? You know, if you're on an FPSO, if you're on a platform, if you're in a utilities application or on a tank, this is what your material looks like. It comes in a roll, as we've said, anything from 50 millimeters up to 300 millimeters width. Any more than 300 becomes quite difficult to manage for applicators, especially rope access guys. So we keep them down to that size. And it tends to be the smaller bore pipe work, the thinner the product that we're wrapping it, or the lesser width we're using to wrap the pipe or structure. Again, referring back to our pressures we're all under in regard to net zero and waste management. It's very clear to see here. The tools are your scissors, your waste is a cardboard roll, and the backing film of the back of the STOPAQ, which is easily gathered and disposed of without leaving any evidence of you being there in the first place. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Whitney, next one, please. Okay. Our clients, and I wouldn't even just say the corporations such as international oil companies, water authorities, local authorities, pharmaceutical industries, big players are all one thing in common, and that's their ESG objectives or their net zero objectives. Most of the clients now, when we speak to them, it's one of the first things they want to talk about. How can this help me reduce my global footprint? Just a couple of points in that. A lot of people are not heard this one, that 27% of greenhouse gases that are released into the atmosphere can be related directly to corrosion or the manufacture of steel to replace corroded steel. And that information came from the University of Manchester in their corrosion department, which I believe is responsible for most of the corrosion engineers that are out there working in the industry at the moment just now. So if we look at traditional methods that are still being used and probably will be used for some time, but we can see the harm that it's causing. If you blast and paint, you are creating approximately 2.3 tons worth of waste, mainly in garnet, and mainly in garnet containing the coating, which in some cases could be red lead. So it's not good for us. The other thing with that, of course, is most garnet is sourced from India or Australia, and has got to be bulk carried from these locations to the rest of the world. So that's, in our case here in Europe, 22,000 kilometres of transport by bulk carriers. Does add to the footprint as well. We can also see that the STOPAQ, because the nature of the material, has approximately 90% reduced carbon emissions compared to that of traditional coatings. I'll go right to the bottom here, and one thing that's important for coating specialists, corrosion specialists, it's not just about the application at the time. It's about the life of asset and how many times you've got to revisit that particular paint job or coatings job. We can categorically say that with STOPAQ, 30 years minimum, 30-year guarantee, compared to, and I'm being generous here, a 10-year maintenance interval for such things as epoxies, polyureas, twin pack solutions that are used in steelwork just now. And that's an example here based on a corrosion grade 4, round about 100 square meters at 400 microns traditional coating. Okay, next one, please. So one thing I'd say about corrosion, we recognize market segmentation, but corrosion doesn't recognize it. Corrosion will occur across all industries, across all areas. So just let me run through a couple of things. Where we can help, where we can provide a solution is billet pipe and components, field joints, atmospheric. When we say atmospheric, we mean everything above the waterline, above the splash zone. Corrosion under insulation, a very wide topic, and there's a lot of discussion regarding the suitability of STOPAQ for corrosion under insulation. We fully believe we have got an ideal system with that, first of all, for corrosion protection of the pipe. And then, of course, as we put the insulation on and then the cladding, we can also protect the cladding using Aluclad, which is a STOPAQ product. The beauty, again, of STOPAQ is that it actually likes water. So we can apply the product below the waterline using divers. Splash zone is ideal. So anybody that's got jetty piles, structural steel in the sea, such as platforms, rigs, renewable structures such as wind turbines, this product is ideal. It's, as I say, getting your ideal environmentals is always difficult, but even more so in these type of applications. We also have a product that has been looked favourably at called self-cleaning repair patches. A lot of the operators want to do what they call seek and arrest. So if they're walking around a plant or a pipeline and they come across corrosion, then we can do surface preparation there and put the repair patch on. 20-year guarantee on the repair patch, so it's not to be viewed as a temporary coating. It's actually going to be there a while. And the other area, of course, sealing and waterproofing. So the original STOPAQ was designed for was to eliminate leaks. And being a Dutch product, that was very important back then. Okay, Whitney. I'm not going to go through all these. Just want to say that, like all coatings, we need to comply to the standards at the time and make sure our tests are in line with the standards. So we've taken each of these market segments we looked at earlier on, and we have tied them into the ISO standards. So we can see the segment, the standard, and the broad coating outline there and what the components are. Okay, Whitney. Again, just a short little video. So in practical terms, this is how the guys apply the product onto pipework. What we're seeing here is the clear backing on the STOPAQ that has got to come off as the guys are rolling it on. See a nice little bit of tension just being used here to keep the wrinkles off the surface. That's all that's required. And we've got an overlap, 10mm overlap for a circumferential wrap. We then apply the outer wrap, PVC or PE. Again, STOPAQ is the manufacturer moving to cleaner, greener wraps, and these should be getting introduced later in the year. So that's the basic system there being applied to pipework. Tidy job. One question we're often asked is, well, what about inspection? It's all very well putting a product onto the pipe and it's you're guaranteeing it for 30 years and you're expecting 60 to 70 years. Our answer is always the same, is that you don't actually need to take the product off to have a look, because we're blocking the oxygen you're getting through to the steel. But some people want to actually inspect. So what we recommend is just to cut an inspection hatch if required, clean it back, do your NDT, and then just do a patch repair if you want to inspect. But more and more people are beginning to realise, why would we do that? There's no real need to do that. There are other options out there in regard to technology, such as detectors, cumulative metal loss detectors that can be measured through the STOPAQ on critical pipework. So you can then work out if you're losing metal in these particular areas. Okay, thank you. Next one. I'm going to cover just a few applications that we see here in the UK and our colleagues across the world use STOPAQ for. I think possibly the largest application is buried pipe across the globe, and we can see why. Minimum surface preparation, easy to apply, no curing times, so we don't have to wait, come back, or risk of contamination between coats, especially in countries, you know, maybe high sand content like the Middle East, that if your coating's wet, you're going to have problems. You're going to have to, you know, ensure that they're protected against any airborne sand. Okay, next one, please. Again, touched on this earlier. This is a good example of STOPAQ being used as a single application from subsea, splash zone and atmospheric. So right from the seabed up into the underside of the jetty, STOPAQ can be used. We can switch the specification as we come into the atmospheric space. We would use what we call WSH, which is our wet application STOPAQ for subsea and splash zone. And then we could switch over to CZ, which is the atmospheric application. Or to make life easy, just go fully with the STOPAQ WSH and apply the outer wrap from splash zone and above. Surface preparation here again, very easy, ST2, either done by rope access or coming alongside in a small vessel to get the surface prep done. Okay, next one, please, Whitney. Colin touched on this earlier, which is the pull-off test. Really, really important. So one thing that we need to make sure that the pipe is clean enough. So I don't need to go into that in any more detail. When we run our training courses here, when the guys come in from the operational maintenance companies, it's the one thing that we make sure that they're taken to the work site with them, is how important to get that level of cleanliness prior to the application. Okay, Whitney, thanks. Fuel joints. See more and more applications for STOPAQ for fuel joints. It's really ideal to use as a repair system. Where pipe have come with existing coatings, they've been cut back, and you need to have a long life coating around the weld joints. It's clean, tidy, and as we can see here, it's very simple to apply two-coat system. You do your pull-off test. You overlap by approximately 100 millimeters to the existing coating and apply the outer wrap, leaving 3 millimeters of STOPAQ CZ visible. And that is your repair done. In particular, we're seeing this application a lot on FPSOs at the moment, where a lot of the pipes from on the vessel from the shipyard, when it comes onto location, are in need of a repair. And this is the system we use for that. Okay, Whitney. Again, I've covered that in the last slide, so we'll just move on. Yeah, we spoke about how do we put it on in the first place. Well, this is, we can see here that rope access is very important for us because, well, it gets us into the places that would be difficult for scaffolding and very costly for scaffolding, especially that top right-hand photograph there. We'd have to do a hung scaffold. Rope access allows us to get in quickly, do the repair. Materials are cut to size, and the rope access technicians can get on and off with minimum impact. Down the bottom right-hand corner, we can see STOPAQ is not just used for tubulars, it's also used for structural steel. We use a product called base coat. It can either be left like that or painted. We prefer to paint over the top of it, but ideal. Base coat's been used a lot in things like accommodation units, repairs to roofs. Easy to use, minimum disruption. The accommodation units, we even managed to apply the product whilst the accommodation units were being used on a 24-hour rota. So, okay, Whitney, thanks. Okay, just in summary then, just what we're looking at. So for the operator or asset owner, no VOCs, no hazardous chemicals, no self-produced noise such as dust or vibration, and we provide the training courses. STOPAQ will provide the training for applicators in various locations across the globe. For the environment, I know I've gone on about the environment today, but believe me, our clients are really focused on this. Straight to the second point, the longevity of the product is amazing at 30 plus years. We have applications now here in Scotland where we are at 17, 18 years, and the STOPAQ itself is every bit as good as the day it went on, and the steel below it has not deteriorated at all. Other benefits would be the reduced consumption, simple things like filters, masks, suits, gloves. These all add up, and also less working hours, which result in less emissions. For those that are costing a project, well, reduced need for scaffolding and tarpaulins. Ideal for the guys, rope access. A lot of the guys we train here are all rope access techs, and they really like applying this product. It's simple, it's clean for them to do it. And, you know, achieving your environmentals in some locations, hanging off a rope can be very, very difficult. SimOps. SimOps is something we covered in that where we're doing applications of STOPAQ, if we've got rotating equipment or there's other tasks going on in the surrounding area, then we're not interfering with these tasks. And finally, the reduction and the risk of rework, because most of the problems that we face in our industry are issues that happen during the surface preparation stage, or when we've surface prepped, then we go for a break, or we're between coats and contamination can occur, or the environmentals change. We are eliminating these risks from your coatings and steel protection projects. Okay. Now, as I say, this is just a tech bite. We're running a few of them this week. We're covering the benefits of STOPAQ. I don't want to attended a lot of webinars, and I think if the shorter and the sharper, the better. So happy to take any questions from anybody out there. I've got Colin here, so if things get a bit too tricky, I'll ask Colin to step in and answer any questions. Would anybody like to kick off?
I just wanted to let everyone know that I've activated your microphones. So if you have any questions, you can either add them to the meeting chat, or you can just unmic yourselves and go ahead and ask. So as you feel comfortable.
Okay, if there's no questions, that's fine. Whitney, do you want to advise anybody if you want a copy of the presentation, how to get it?
If you'd like a copy of Stuart's presentation, you can reach out to me either on LinkedIn or reach out to me via email, and I can get you a copy. As I mentioned, this presentation has been recorded, so a copy of it will be made available on our YouTube page, and it will also most likely be available on our LinkedIn page as well in the coming days. So if you'd like a copy of the physical slides, you can reach out to us through our LinkedIn page, and I can make sure you get those.
Okay, that's fine. Tomorrow we're running a short webinar on the use of STOPAQ for operational pipework. Please feel free to join us. We've already got a few people committed to come and to listen to me do the same again, but we'll be looking at STOPAQ from a different perspective tomorrow. So as I say, you're more than welcome.